and he said that Devin Haney's next fight will be against Vasily Lomachenko. They're working on a date, and they're looking to probably get this done, somewhere around May. They're saying, looking for a date and a venue, but it looks like it's going to get done somewhere around the springtime. Big question that I have though is Lomachenko is going to turn 35 in February. He's got some wear and tear on him. Still has the shoulder. I mean, the shoulder has had surgery on it twice. I still question if that's 100%. So, is Devin Haney going to get the best version of Lomachenko? And is he getting them at the right time if they do end up fighting in May? I'll start with you, Base. What are your thoughts on this news from Arum?
Well, the news itself, I mean, I think it's what everyone was expecting, so good for that. In terms of, okay, is Devin getting Lomachenko at the right time? Quite possibly. I mean, yeah, 35 is not a spring chicken. You're on the back end of your prime. You're definitely on the decline. Loads of injuries, wear and tear. What was it? 397 amateur fights or whatever it was. So, yes, that all makes sense. But then on the flip side, you can also say maybe Loma's getting Devin at the right time, because if it's in May or thereabouts, bearing in mind that Devin is now a practicing Muslim and you have Ramadan between the 20th of March and the 20th of April, if he's going to be practicing, that means that in that period of time, he's either not going to be eating during the day, depleting his body as he's already had to do to make the weight, and he's going to be going longer and longer throughout a cycle where it's visibly a lot harder for him to get down to 135. And yes, he had more than enough to deal with Kambosos in the rematch, but that's just because he's just levels above Kambosos technically and like in terms of his skill set and his IQ. Cool. And he had a lot of different advantages that Kambosos won't implement the same type of things that Lomachenko will. But when you now have to sort of keep focused and keep those gears high and sharp throughout an entire period of time while you are so depleted, when everyone's questioning your chin. I don't question the chin personally, because again, out of all of these guys, he's the only one that's never hit the canvas. So yeah, he might not react the greatest to a shot, but to me, that's just part and parcel of the game, innit? But yeah, I've always maintained, if you can't have that fight before Ramadan when you wanted it, I'd get rid of those belts, move up to 140 and say, Bob, give me my fight up here or set me out of the contract. Because
is he aging Loma out here? What do you think?
I don't think he's aging Loma out purposely. I think Loma's just aged himself out because he started his professional career late. He had that deep amateur career. They don't start their careers till late. And Lomachenko's style is kind of predicated on his footwork and his athleticism. And at 35, you're on the back end. You're long in the tooth, I'd say at that point. I'm not sure still what I saw in that Jermaine Ortiz fight, whether that was ring rust or that was age, because he did seem to ramp up towards the latter end of that fight once Jermaine Ortiz started to fade a little bit. But regardless, I think when push comes to shove, Devin's just too big, too long, too young. He's just a bigger unit. He's got like 5 or 6 inches of reach. He's got one of the best jabs in the game. He can keep Lomachenko at the end of that and just make it a real ugly 12-round unanimous decision fight or split decision fight. But I don't see what Lomachenko can really do at this point in the game in the lightweight division, because he was already an undersized lightweight to begin with. As far as the Ramadan thing, has it already been established that Lomachenko's side will not fight before Ramadan? Is that how I understand it? Or
I think it was Bob just saying the dates, the way they just looking at it for me. I think Loma,
they don't want to clash with March Madness. That's what Bob said. He doesn't want to clash. He doesn't want the fight to clash with March Madness, the college basketball stuff.
Yeah.
So he said April, but if it's April because of Ramadan, it must be the end, either the end of April or the beginning of May, because obviously if Devin's going to be observing Ramadan, he can't come back at the beginning of April. It would have to
train him. You can't train during Ramadan. That's
exactly. It's not going to. It's probably going to be May. It's probably going to be May.
Yeah. Either way, I definitely heavily favor Devin Haney, and I would be very surprised if Lomachenko pulled it off at 35 years old against a young stud like that. I'm high on Devin Haney. I'll admit that. I don't see Lomachenko beating him.
I'm high on Devin, but I don't see what he does that Lomachenko can't work around. Devin's money punches his jab. Loma's a southpaw. He's going to move right, stay on the outside of that jab. When he shifts, you'll turn with him, and when you turn, pop left hand. Plus the left hand.
He could shut down that jab. If he shuts down that jab, you got to fight.
I just feel like, look, this is my thing. If Devin loses, I'm still a fan of Devin. I don't really care. I don't have a horse in that race. I love the fight. If Devin loses, he's not a hype job. He fought the guy that I wanted him to fight for 4 fucking years. Same with Loma. If he loses, it's not a hype job. I wanted to see this fight for 4 fucking years, and they gave me the fight. They found a way. My main thing is, I just don't like hearing that, is Devin getting him at the right time? No, they both have drawbacks. Devin is killing himself to make 135, but Lomachenko will be 35. So to me, they're here. They're on even terrain. They both have drawbacks. So it all just boils down to styles. Now, I saw way past it, Jorge Linares really hurt Devin off a right hand. And it's like, by now, I think everybody at 135 knows that Linares has a great right hand. He's going to land it. Like, it's not a question of whether or not he's going to land it. He's going to land that punch. He landed it on Lomachenko and sat him on his back pocket. So he's going to land that punch. And I'm just like, look, if Linares can touch you with that shot, you're fighting out of the orthodox stance. So is he. You didn't defend against it. It still landed. Then Lomachenko can land that straight left. I wonder, what are you going to do about the volume? Because this is not Jojo Diaz. This is not Jorge Linares. This guy's different from anybody you fought. And what I see that Devin has is, okay, you're taller, you're longer, you got a good jab. All those things can be worked around. And you have been touched before by lesser fighters than this guy. This guy doesn't just have good hands. He has good feet. And even if he's not what he was, a couple of years ago, none of us are, this is still a really good fucking fight, dog. Like, to me, this is a great fucking fight. If it was on pay-per-view, I'd buy it. That's how good it is.
It's hard enough to get guys' attention. I do believe that. And I also, another thing too is, I don't think Lomachenko's ever fought anybody with Devin Haney's foot speed and hand speed. This could be
Ortiz, bro. I'm telling you.
I don't think he's faster. I don't think he's faster than Devin. I just don't.
Not faster, but I'm just going to say this. With Teofimo, you have to be wary of the counter. You can't commit. You cannot commit to your punches. You have to be wary of the counter. So even though I don't think Teofimo has a better jab than Devin at all, Devin's jab is there's nothing wrong with it at all. Whereas Teofimo's, he's just he's just putting it out there. Well, it's nothing major, and he's really just trying to set up the right hand. He's really just trying to set up the counter, walk you into that punch. Devin commits to his jab. He gets the whole arm out there, and I could see
full extension.
Yeah, and I could see him getting under or around it or to the side of it, and punch him in the chest, bring over some other shit. Like, this is a beautiful fight, man. Beautiful fight.
Last point before I pass it to D-Style is one other thing I do like that Devin does is he doesn't fight you on the inside, but he knows how to nullify you on the inside. People criticize him for the holding, but when he holds you, he is walking you back, mauling you, maneuvering you, forcing you to shuffle your feet backward. And he can get physical with guys. When he wrapped up Kambosos, he was kind of throwing him around, pushing him back, and then he would release the clinch and punch off the clinch. He's a pretty physically strong guy on the inside when he does wrap you up like that. Andre Ward used to do that too. He would grab you, walk you back, and then he would turn you, line you up for a shot, release you, and then punch off the clinch. I could see him doing that to Lomachenko, and Lomachenko is more of a mid-range guy. He's not going to go deep in the pocket. He's a mid-range guy.
That is true. That is true.
So this is a great fight. This is a great fight.
I don't care who wins, man. I just want to. I don't care who wins. It's everything I want to see in a fight is there. I don't know who wins, bro. I just want to see the fight.
Yeah. D, what do you think, man? I mean, is he going to get him at the right time, or does it even matter? Is this still going to be a 50-50 fight regardless of what we just said? You're muted, sir.
Apologize. I keep hearing Loma's old, wear and tear, the long amateur career. Look. But I've also heard over the years, which I was right in line with, Loma's a great fighter. Loma's an all-time great. If Loma's those things, he should be fighting at age 35. He should be able to beat Devin Haney. That's what I'll say. If he is those things. And this is his opportunity to prove that, right? Not to prove he's proven he's a great fighter. I'm talking about like all-time great status. Like if you're there, and there's nothing wrong if you're not, you should be able to win this fight. You should be able to do fine at age 35. Okay, yes, you have wear and tear. Guess what? All fighters get wear and tear, right? But age 35, not 40, not 45, 35, all right? And a short pro career, we're honest, and most of those fights you dominated, right? So it's not like he's been in all these wars and, oh my God, and yes, there is the amateur career, but it is what it is. I mean, that he decided to stay in the amateurs that long. That was his decision. It is what it is. Devin Haney, to me, he's a good fighter. I give him credit, okay? But I just didn't like the Kambosos win doesn't do it for me. All right. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I called it the golden mirage. You put a bunch of titles on the line and people overgas the win. They make it more than what it really was. If Kambosos never fought for the belts, and let's just say after his, let's just say he fought Haney instead. Like instead of Linares, he fought Kambosos and he beat Kambosos. Would anybody be jumping in glee and saying he should be a top 5 pound for pound and oh my God, put this guy on all the list and you better do it and all this it's the golden mirage. He did it for all the belts, so that's why it's over. People are overhyping it more than what it is. Now I'm not taking away the accomplishment. I'm not taking away what he accomplished, right? But this is boxing, ladies and gentlemen. In boxing, the two that fight for the top belts aren't always the best. Just the way it is. Just like Ramirez wasn't top 2 at 140 when he fought Taylor. Everybody knew the top 2. Progress was one of them. It is what it is. Is that I think the Loma fight is the perfect setting for Loma to prove his greatness, right? Or not. I don't want to say prove because he's proven his great, but to prove he's an all-time great. Okay, reinforce his greatness to show he's still around, and it's an opportunity for Devin Haney to show he's a real deal. I'm sorry that the Kambosos fight just doesn't quite do it for me. Okay.
Punch you in the chest before you get
Who
ready
would
to spar.
do that with
That's
a major
ridiculous.
fight like that?
How stupid was that?
You guys all make great points again, and that's why this is a great fight because, and I do think it happens. I think we get Lomachenko, Haney. And one thing we haven't discussed is Top Rank's position here because they're set up so well in this division going into 140, and you can't go wrong either way, right? So if Haney wins, you end up getting Haney Stevenson, which is a great matchup. If Loma wins, you get Loma Stevenson. So they're set up very well. I understand that Haney has to cut down to 135, and that's very, very difficult. He has a lot of means to do that and make it happen. I fully expect him to make 135 for that fight and be healthy. He may not look great at the weigh-in. That's because he's making an unnatural weight. If this were the 1950s, Devin Haney would be a welterweight. I mean, let's be honest. If he was weighing in on the same day. Yeah. So he's making a very unnatural weight, but he's young enough where he can pull it off. And I expect him to be healthy at 135 and make that weight easily. For Lomachenko, here's the thing. It's not making excuses. It's just naming facts, okay? This is going to bother some people what I'm about to say. The dude is a featherweight fighting at lightweight. That's the truth. He is 35 years old. He had hundreds of amateur fights, okay? Yes, he is clearly past his best. If you watched him in the Olympics, if you watched him against Gary Russell Jr., I was fucking ringside for those fights, okay? He's not the same guy. The feet, the angles, it's not the same. I expect Devin Haney to win that fight and win it fairly clearly. Seriously. On paper, that's what should happen. I will give Devin Haney full credit, but that's what should happen when you look at all the intangibles of where these guys are at and the reality of their size. I saw somebody in the chat bring up Bernard Hopkins' age when he fought Tito Trinidad. Where did B-Hop start his career? Exactly. Where did Tito start his career? Exactly. You guys leave out these very important factors here. You are having a guy that's basically a welterweight, and I'm not making excuses. Fighting a guy who could make featherweight right now if he really wanted to. That is the key factor here. Haney should win this fight, and he should win it like 117, 111. It should be fairly wide, in my opinion.
You're fucking crazy, man. No, you're fucking crazy.
Mike is one of the biggest Lomachenko fans. If he's saying it,